Hey guys, what's going on? So today we have a different style video. If you see in the background, you might know what's coming. I'm going to be going over some third-party products that might help enhance your VR experience. Today we're covering two products from KIWI. This is a silent VR cable system, and I have some straps for the Oculus controllers so they stick to your hands like the index controller. Alright, let's get into it, guys. So a big shout out to my buddy Thrill Seeker. If you don't know his channel, you should. His VR coverage is absolutely amazing, and he actually has a video on the correct way to set up this exact pulley system. So this right here is the trifecta. So there are 3 pulleys connected to a single pulley, and as the name says, silent. Well, that's me banging against the ceiling, but it is actually silent. I will hook up the headset in just a second, but I just want to show you, I'm a neat freak and I like disconnecting everything. Even I'll take these down if I'm having company. It's so simple, guys. Look. Boop. That's it. Now, before we fully jump into this, I do have to say, KIWI did send me these products. This is not a sponsored review. They're not paying me to say anything, so as always, I will be completely honest, but I was sent the products for free. Now, I already showed you that this is already set up and on my ceiling, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of what comes in the box. Now, they will send you 6 of these cable ceiling hooks that I'm throwing around like a crazy person, and you can put them on either via sticky, right here, this will stick to your ceiling, or they actually include some physical hooks. If you're afraid that the stickiness will wear off, or you don't want to adhere something to your ceiling, well, then you could bore holes into your ceiling. So I guess whatever floats your boat. They also have anchors in case you're not hitting any studs or anything. And instructions, Allen key, very simple. Now they actually give you extra in case you screw up like I did. I almost slipped off my ladder and leaned against the ceiling and accidentally stuck one of these to the ceiling in the wrong position. I'm not lying. I slipped off my step stool, caught myself, and partially adhered it to my ceiling. And that's one thing I must point out. If you want to take these off, they will tear the paint off. So be prepared to have some white paint for when you remove these. So as I previously mentioned, I am a bit of a neat freak. That's where I like to keep my index, and this is the breakaway spot right here. So I'm not completely in a perfectly straight line when you go back to my play location. So I'll show you guys that. As you see right here, it's not a perfect straight line, but it's doing the job well enough. Obviously, this is centered right over the middle of my play space, and it has enough slack to go wherever I need to go. This right here is basically as far as my headset will ever make it. We're about 20 feet from the computer right now, so obviously the headset isn't that long. And you see, I'm not even really pulling all of them completely. You will feel some tug at this distance, but it's less annoying than tripping over a cable. Now, for easy cleanup, what I did was I actually marked the locations where I attach the pulley system to, so I could take it down and put it back up without having to really measure it back out and figure out where the ideal location is. And as you can see, there's a few more here and here in the other 2 locations. And that comes to my next point of the pulley system. You're going to have to play with it a bunch to really get it into the right spot so that the cable is not smacking you in the top of the head. So overall, I'm actually quite impressed with the pulley system. As you saw, it's very simple for me to set up and take down if you're that type of person. It does allow you to do things in VR you normally couldn't do, like spin circles like a wild person and then hit into your chair. And with a price tag of only $30, well, I mean, if you're a VR gamer, you're already dropping lots of cash. What's $30 more? No, for $30, it's the type of price where it's worth experimenting with. Now, can I say it's a perfect solution? No, absolutely not. But you're not going to have any latency issues as if you were using the wireless adapter, which I did use for a long time. I had the HTC wireless adapter with a Vive Pro, and it worked really, really well. Occasionally, I'd get like maybe a 1 second cutout, like once in every 10 hours, like extremely rare. What I would see more often was a minor amount of latency and compression issues. Like basically, you'd get a lot of pixelation and then it would go away. And that was still very rare, so it worked quite well. But I actually enjoy my Valve Index tethered more than I liked the Vive Pro wireless. So this is a great option for me. Can I give it 100% stamp of approval? Not yet. I really feel like I need to get in and game for a good like 20 hours before I have a complete feel for it. I don't know if I'm gonna eventually start tangling it, but even that's not bad, because worst comes to worst, you take the VR headset off for a second and you kind of just let it unwind itself. And if you notice, when I came towards my computer over here, I do kind of get in the way of the cable a little bit, so there is definitely room for adjustments. I do occasionally feel like just tap the top of my head, but I have to say that's much less intrusive than tripping over a cable, and I have had some horror stories, especially with my original Vive playing Space Pirate Trainer. I actually hooked a cable on my leg one day, and it totally pulled my legs up like cartoon style up in the air. I landed flat on my back. Luckily back then I had carpet, which I do not have now. Now it'd be a concussion. Back then I landed on the carpet and I was laying on the floor trying to play Space Pirate Trainer while laying on the floor. I've also ripped the cable out of the machine. So this seems like a good upgrade for me, and I will check back in after about 20 plus hours of additional gaming. Now, on the other hand, KIWI's other product, the knuckle straps, is not as easy to recommend. Now, they do what they are intended to do. They make the controllers function closer to the Valve Index controllers in terms of how they stay on your hand, which is nice. And I'll be honest, my hand is open. This is... oh, that was violent face. It's not gonna fly off. No. This does, though, come with some issues. Now, if you notice the way it sits on my hand, it's a little bit awkward. It's not gonna hold your hand the way the Valve Index controller does. It's actually positioning the controller not in line. I mean, it looks pretty straight, but really the controller ideally should be on a little bit of an angle. You hold the controller like this, not like this. So it's locking the controller into a little bit of an awkward position. It's making it right up on my hand in a spot which is less comfortable, and my thumb, it's moving my thumb away from the thumbstick. Now you can resolve that by loosening this, but then it gets to a point where, well, it doesn't really completely function, and if I was to do that rapid arm test with this looser, it will shoot off my hand. The other issue I have is it's not easy to adjust. I mean, it's not hard, it's Velcro strap, and you place it on your hand, but if you put your hand in first and then kind of adjust it, it ends up being too loose. See? So if you kind of find a good place, strap it on and then slide your hand in, it's better. But then if you hand your controller to someone else, they have to do that adjustment. And okay, not a huge deal, just not perfect. It's not like the knuckles where you slide them on, you find a good position and then you just pull a cable. Also, there's no flex in here. So once you find it in a spot, you're likely to see that it's either too tight or too loose. And both of those suck. Now, I played around with a lot of different ways they have. You can put this strap around the neck here, but then it ends up blocking the menu key, which I found to be a little annoying. So you can strap it here. And I've played around with unorthodox methods. Like, I actually changed the way this is strapped in from the bottom. These are very easy to put on, by the way. This is basically like looping a rubber band. And this goes on you just open up the battery compartment and you just pull out your original strap, and you see it's got this little curved edge. It just pops in. So these go in 2 seconds. That's very simple. But I feel like they're not gonna suit everyone's hands. It needs a little bit more of an angle to it. And like I said, I really tried playing around, even used unorthodox methods, like turning this part around so it kind of has a different curvature to it, just to kind of see if I get it to feel a little bit better. And overall, it's just okay. These are much harder to recommend. I feel like the discomfort is not worth the, having that little nicety that you can just slide them on and keep your hands open, because I would just let the controllers dangle if I was using this, and who really cares? This isn't a big deal. These, like I said, these are just merely okay, and I can't recommend you pick them up because you really got to feel them first to know if you want them, and then I don't think you're going to be able to return them. Well, if you pick them up from Amazon, Amazon takes everything back. Yeah, I've had this keyboard for 17 years and I'm missing keys. Can you take it back? Yeah, sure. Exaggeration. But guys, those were the 2 products by KIWI. If you're interested in a pulley system, I do recommend you check this one out. It has silent in the name, and they nailed it. You can even adjust the tension, which I didn't show you guys, but I think the default tension is perfect, and it really does enhance your VR experience. Until the Valve Index 2 completely wireless 240 Hertz 8K headset comes out, yeah, I will use a pulley system. Works for me. Okay guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead, leave it a thumbs up, drop your comments below, and I will see you guys on next time.